guys, it's Danny. Today it is time for the Orchids in Bloom show, which I renamed into What's in Bloom in the Orchid Room. So it's just gonna be pretty much a tour and also an emphasis on the orchids that are in bloom or have some buds. It is the replacement of the What's in Bloom. Let me just close the door here because I feel it's pretty echoey. Right. So as always, these types of videos can get a little bit long. So if you feel so inclined to repot something or get a snack or something to drink, do so right now. Pause this video. And after you're done, let's just go ahead and have a chill time. And who knows, maybe I can give you some ideas for some wish list orchids. The shelves have changed a little bit. And if you missed the video somehow, yeah, I redesigned a little bit the orchid room. I also downsized quite a bit, so I have quite a lot less Phalaenopsis orchids, and I mainly will focus on the orchids that bring me more joy and do well in my environment, which are mainly warm growing orchids and Cattleyas. Yeah, I love Cattleyas and they do so great, and they just look so different. As you will see, I have quite a few Cattleyas in bloom right now. You will see they just look so different. You wouldn't say they're kind of related or in the same, at least, family of orchids, right? But anyway, let's just get to the tour, shall we? Here we have one of the most beautiful Brassola hybrids that I have. I shall put the names on the screen, but I will also tell them to you if I remember. Brassocattleya, Jairak, Kiku. Okay, this is not so hard to remember, but it's not an orchid that for me bloomed a lot in its first couple of years in my collection. And finally now she has started to put on more growth. We have two directions of growth, and this orchid is currently threatening to grow out of the room. Not out of the room, out of the pot. Can you imagine? Starting to pick out the hallway. Out of the pot. So she definitely starts to look more and more like a Brassola, but what's very interesting with this orchid is the color of the blooms. They're really purpley and nice, and in the light of the Barina, they do glow quite a bit. Now, even in natural light, this orchid looks absolutely fantastic, and at some point I brought it downstairs in the kitchen to enjoy it when I first moved into the house, and she does look very, very good in natural light as well. She's also a little fragrant during nighttime, smells a little bit like a Brassola, if you know the soapy and perfumey smell. And when I say soapy, it's in a very good way. I don't think this is the strongest Brassola hybrid you can find out there. Definitely I have more that seem to be more vigorous and forgiving, but once it gets started, she is actually growing quite nice, doesn't bloom very often. My camera absolutely does not want to focus on it automatically quite at all. But yeah, once she gets going, she is quite a nice orchid. Just don't expect too much blooming from this one. It's a bit of a, finicky type of hybrid in my opinion, but it is worth growing, and definitely in my grow room she will stay because of this beautiful color, which is not very, very common with Brassola hybrids. Right, next up we have one solitary bloom here. This is the only one that I have left. Let's adjust the exposure from the Gold Coast Fireworks. I'll put the name on the screen. It's quite a bit of a long name, and even though I have this orchid for a number of years, I still cannot really remember exactly her name. Now, this orchid had multiple buds, as you can see on the stem here, but it also had quite a few mealybugs, so I sprayed some alcohol in it, hoping the buds will survive the treatment, but they were already a little bit munched. The alcohol probably went into the very thin petals and kind of destroyed the buds. Only one bud survived, and this is the flower, but it's okay since I have this orchid for a long, long time. I've seen her in bloom on multiple occasions. She looks very, very beautiful. She's a very strong orchid. It can actually bloom multiple times a year, especially if she has multiple directions of growth. I do believe I divided this orchid last time I repotted. She's kind of growing out of her pot again. And the best thing about it, apart from the flowers, is that it does stay quite small. Do we see? She's kind of like 30 centimeters high or so. Definitely not a very tall orchid. She can fit in multiple shelves. The flower spike is a little bit tall, but not very. She's a beautiful, beautiful choice if you don't have a lot of space and you want a showstopper. Can you imagine like 20 more of these blooms? She looks fantastic. There is no fragrance though, that's the only downside, but she's a very prolific bloomer, cluster bloomer as you can see, and looks absolutely phenomenal. Totally recommend this one. Righty, what else do we have in bloom? Well, I'm not going to show you necessarily the sheets because you never know with Cattleyas and sheets. They might bloom, they might not. They might bloom next year, which happens. Like you can have some dried sheets sitting there doing nothing for like the year, and next year, poof, you got buds. Always happens with Cattleyas. Righty, here we have an orchid that I just realized I mispronounced for the past 2 years, I think. This is Cattleya Tsiku Eglantine. It's not Elegante. I blame it on my astigmatism. I see a few letters, I think I know what it says, right? Elegante sounds more common. Now, why did I notice this one is called Eglantine? Oh, by the way, it's Tsiku Eglantine crossed with Cattleya Eglantine Cerulean. I think that's the entire name. So there's this rose from David Austin that I was thinking to order and to have in my garden called Eglantine. So I got familiar with the word. And when I saw this one has buds, I looked at the tag and immediately I saw it was Eglantine. Why did I think it was Elegante? You know, I'm sorry. Probably you guys have noticed and you didn't say anything about it because you're way too nice. But this, yeah, it's Eglantine, not Elegante, although she's quite elegant. So this is an orchid that bloomed quite recently on the previous growth, which is somewhere in the back there. And this is the second growth that blooms within less than a year, I want to say. I think it bloomed in December, so about 7 months ago. And here she is once again blooming, which is absolutely unexpected because these types of orchids don't bloom too often for me. Yeah, both the Eclandia and also the parents of the Tsiku Eglantine, which I think one of them is one that I don't have anymore because it never bloomed in 5 years. I forgot the name. Anyway, the parentage of this orchid typically doesn't do well for me, or I don't know, it's missing something, it's not blooming. So I'm very shocked that this one is actually blooming again for me. It is a very vigorous grower. Again, one of those tinier Cattleyas, which I like. And the flowers, in regards to the orchid, are quite huge, right? She looks absolutely spectacular. The only thing that's missing is a fragrance. This is not a fragrant orchid. You might detect like a subtle faint something, but compared to some other orchids that I have, I wouldn't say this is fragrant, but it is absolutely gorgeous. She has a very beautiful lavender color. The lip, especially, well, I shouldn't say the lip, I should say better the column. The top part of the column is whitish, which makes a very beautiful contrast. And also she has spots. Absolutely fantastic. I love the shape of the blooms. I love everything about it. The fact that it's small and it's not a fussy orchid. It grows, blooms, no issue. I wish it had a fragrance, especially because it has a very fragrant parent. Oh gosh, why am I missing the name? It's not Harrisoniana. Put it on the screen because I will remember at some point. It has a very fragrant parent. Did not pass on any fragrance to this orchid. What to do? Next to it, we have an orchid that again is a very prolific bloomer, and if you want a Brassocattleya hybrid that is actually very vigorous, this is the one to go for. And this is something with glory. It's a newer orchid actually, in the sense that I have it for 2-3 years. That's new to me. Golden Glory, something like that. You're gonna have the name on the screen. I'm not very familiar with this one yet. This is a color changing orchid, and if I can move you a little out of the way, you can see what I mean. So these are some flowers that just opened. You can see they're a little bit more coppery, and when they age, they become golden, as the name suggests. They are very, very pretty, and I especially like the dotting on the lip and the completely undotted, not dotted, petals that are golden and they stand out. This is a very, very fast grower. She's not very tiny, as you can see, quite a tall orchid. The good thing is it doesn't have a long rhizome, but it can get quite tall. So the fact that I removed one of the shelves here is absolutely fantastic, because now the flowers do not hit the light. I do not have to play around with putting them outside of the shelf and so on. This has been the best decision that I ever made. Just removing this shelf and also this shelf here. I'd rather have less orchids than crowded orchids that lose flowers because I don't see them, they grow in the wall, they grow in the lights, and they get burned, and so on and so forth. Yeah, much, much better. So this one, not the tiniest of orchids, seems to grow pretty tidy, but it's quite tall as you can see. However, beautiful, beautiful blooms. Right, down there, we don't have anything in bloom just yet. We have a bunch of sheaths, but we shall pretend they don't exist because I don't want to jinx anything. Not that I believe in jinxes, but with Cattleyas, you just happen to look at them the wrong way and poof, no bloom for you this year. Another blind sheath, woohoo, because why not? So let's look at the blooms and the buds that I already see. This one is another kind of newish orchid that I've only showed it to you, I think, in bloom once when it arrived, because all of the other times I just missed the blooms, or they just got munched by mealybugs, or they grow into the lights, you know the drill. And when I tell you this orchid bloomed 4 times ever since I got it, Yuan, oh gosh, the tag is stuck, Yuan, I'll put the name on the screen. It's in one of the orchid holes, actually. Rainbow, Beauty, something like that. Just check the screen, I'll put the name there. This is a Peloric orchid. Do we see it? Look how beautiful those petals are. They're trying to imitate the lip down to the yellow in the center of the lip. This is a very, very pretty Peloric orchid that actually does have a fragrance. It smells like lilies to me. It's a pretty moderate fragrance, but definitely noticeable. And I'll tell you another thing. I have another orchid which smells very, very close to this one. Again, like lilies. Again, a moderate fragrance, not super fragrant. But when you enter this room, these 2 Cattleyas make the entire room smell like lilies. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's not a big room, but definitely it's very, very noticeable. Birdie's talking to the vacuum. The vacuum robot turned on and she's saying hello to it. She's so cute. And then she says bye. I don't know if you can hear her. She says hello and then bye. Okay. Righty, so this orchid does not have the biggest of blooms. However, she is so prolific. As I was saying, this orchid bloomed, I don't know, 4, 5 times ever since I got it like a couple of years ago. She blooms a lot. She grows super fast. I kind of already need to divide it a little bit because there's no more room in the pot. And she blooms on each and every single cane. It doesn't... Does it? Maybe it produces a little yeah, it does. It makes a sheath. I'm lying. I thought it didn't. But the buds form immediately in the sheath. It's like she doesn't even have one. So if you want a very, very prolific bloomer and you enjoy the smell of lilies, to my nose at least, it's not a very, very powerful fragrance, but it's there. Check this one out. She looks beautiful, not the biggest of flowers, but definitely I really like this Peloria that she has, and she blooms a lot, multiple times a year. Each and every cane blooms, is not fussy, very, very good orchid to have in your collection. Okay, in the back there we have an oldie but goldie. It's the Purple Cascade, and I can already see buds forming here. She usually does not skip a year. She's floriferous, but last year I think, or 2 years ago, we had a blank sheath. I'm hoping there will be some buds forming this year in that sheath, but I don't know. This one though already has buds, so we're good. I think you know it already because I showed it to you in other videos. One that I really, really like, but it doesn't bloom often. This is Chocolate Drop. This is one that I've wanted for 13 years, no, 12 years, ever since I discovered the Sherry Baby, which smells like chocolate, and because of the search terms, Google returned an image with the chocolate drop as well, and I just fell in love with the blooms. I had one in the past, didn't do so good for me. I purchased another one, and this one does good. This is a tall orchid, but the blooms are absolutely phenomenal. They're glossy. The blooms are glossy. Yes, you're gonna have to wait and see. They're red. I do believe she's also a little fragrant. We shall see. Does not smell like chocolate, sadly. But yeah, cannot wait to see her blooms. Almost in bloom. And from here, let's slowly move to the other shelves. Here I have an orchid that I do believe needs some dividing at this point. This is the Hawaiiara Lava Burst. We have a myriad of flower spikes. I didn't even count them, but this is an orchid with many, many growths. So I'm on the fence, dividing it or just keeping it as a specimen, because she doesn't really take up a lot of space now. And yeah, she produces so many flower spikes. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I think it's too much, but I don't know. We'll see. She has many blooms. She will look fantastic when in bloom. Here we have some more sheets, but we're not gonna look at them. We're gonna pretend they don't exist. But I will show you a Cattleya, which I already see buds inside that sheath. This is one of, I think we can say that, one of my oldest Cattleyas. I received it from one of my viewers when I moved to Cyprus, which was 9 years ago. Oh my gosh, 9 years. No way, 9 years, you guys. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I'm just having a little bit of a struggle because it seems like yesterday I made the video where I was like crying and telling you guys thank you so much for like watching my videos on YouTube, because this whole experience allows me to move like with the love of my life and stuff. That was 9 years ago. I moved in 2016. Yeah, 9 years ago. Holy moly, you guys. I remember it like yesterday when I was just like so incredibly happy and telling you guys that you're the reason I can fulfill my dream and be with my current husband. Anyway, so I got this one 9 years ago. I think 2016, if not 9, maybe 8, maybe in 2017. I don't remember, many years ago. And I just messed up so much with this one, so much. It never bloomed, but I received it from one of you guys, so it always stayed with me because I prize it a lot. This one hopefully is Elizabeth, I think Fulton, Mikel. I don't know if it is. I hope it is. I think my viewer didn't know exactly either because they never had it in bloom. Yeah, finally it has buds. Can you believe? Oh my goodness. Hopefully it's one that I don't have. Hopefully it's not mislabeled. We'll see. I'm a little unsure because at some point I think I kind of messed around with the labels. They kind of fell and I didn't know which was which, and I had to go back to the unboxing video or the pictures, and I don't know what this one should, or I know what it should be, but I don't know if it is. We'll see. Very excited about that one. Right, so nothing to see here. Let's move on. Let's move on to, oh my goodness, what a difference. These guys receive natural light a little later in the day. So these are my Tolumnias, and usually Tolumnias for me seem to have a bit of a flowering season, which is in December. They're all in bloom, but some still bloom at this time of year as well. This is Gulls, Jairak flyer gulls, I believe. And this one here has a flower spike. Amazing. This is one of the newer, no, it's not the new one. Red spread. It's Tolumnia red spread. She's putting out a spike, and by the looks of it, it will be a very tall spike. So placing these Tolumnias here was a very good decision, because typically when they're older, Tolumnias seem to produce very, very tall flower spikes, and I always kind of lose some of the spikes, or I have to relocate them temporarily, and I just hate doing that. I like when I find a place for an orchid, I like it to be there and sits there, you know? Anyway. And the last, let's adjust. The last shelf of, oh, it's not the last. The eastern side, let's say, of the grow space features more Cattleyas and Brassocattleya hybrids. Here we have the yellow bird. This one is very fragrant during nighttime, and she's a very beautiful spotted yellow Brassocattleya hybrid. She's a very floriferous one. Mine was a little bit sluggish in its first couple of, or 3 years or so, but recently she has started to put on quite a lot of growth, and it's blooming consistently. Every pseudobulb has blooms. We have some more buds in the back there. She is very, 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 very popular hybrid to have. Definitely recommend it. I think you should find it very easily because she's such a very popular hybrid. Next, another super very, very popular hybrid, and I have this one again for many years, and she's always blooming year after year, pseudobulb after pseudobulb. This is the Golden Peacock. Beautiful again, quite fragrant in the nighttime because she's a Brassocattleya hybrid, produces orange flowers, very similar to the yellow bird, but orange. And there is a bit of a difference between the lip and the petals on this one. She looks gorgeous. 3 flower spikes developing, maybe more, I don't know. She has quite a few directions of growth. Maybe I can divide this next time. This one was divided multiple times because she grows very fast. So definitely on my recommended list. I even put it in many videos as a recommended orchid if you want a very floriferous hybrid, not fussy, grows under artificial light. You don't need to have super bright Cattleya light. And here we have some good news and some bad news. This is one of the surprise Cattleya, Bareward Cattleya orchids that I purchased very affordably, let's say for 10 euros each a couple of years ago. It's the same as the other one. It's the same as this one, which bloomed a little earlier in the year. Yeah, I do believe it's the Memoria and Bolem? I don't know. I'll put it on the screen yet again. Yeah, it's the same, which means most likely all of the other two hybrids that I purchased, which I see look exactly the same leaf-wise, most likely they're the same. They're this thing. So yeah, good news is I'm giving them away. Bad news is it's the same orchid, but there's another good news. I will have more space for more orchids. So maybe, who knows, in the future, a little bit of a haul, who knows, we'll see. Maybe for my birthday, I'm gonna make a little budget for my birthday and I'm gonna purchase orchids for the first time in the past 2 years. I'm gonna place an order. Woohoo! Very exciting. Can you guess what orchids I'm getting? I'll try to be a little more creative. Right, so this one, as I was saying, I believe it's the Memoria Anna, something like that, Anna Bolem. And maybe you cannot tell from the video, but it has absolutely humongous flowers. I think this is the orchid with the hugest flowers in my collection. It has to be. Absolutely humongous flowers. The orchid is not so tall. It is quite big, but it's not really very, very big. They're also fragrant. They smell like lilies. They have a moderate scent, not the most powerful scent, but definitely noticeable. As I was saying, this room smells like lilies to me. This one has a bit of a better fragrance than the previous one that I showed you, the Hsiang. Oh my gosh, the names. I need to start doing these tours more often just to pronounce the names more, right? So yeah, it's a beautiful orchid. I am gonna keep this one, I'm gonna give the other ones away, and I'm happy to have it. It's just a shame that the others, you know, they're the same thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. So this is the last shelf that I'm gonna show you. We have the beautiful Vanda peaches in bloom that we saw a couple of weeks ago. She's still in bloom, has some more little flower spikes there, just developing, so the bloom period will be a little bit extended. This is the first non-Cattleya that's in bloom, right? Well, apart from the Tolumnia. This one blooms once a year. It smells very beautiful in the daytime, has a sweet nectary type of a fragrance. I really, really enjoyed this one. And it can actually grow under lights. It doesn't get big for a Vanda hybrid, and if you cannot bloom Neophaneutias, this particular hybrid is very easy to bloom in my opinion. Just blooms once a year, that's the only thing, but it's absolutely worth it because the color is beautiful and the fragrance is beautiful as well. Absolutely recommend this one. And the last blooming orchid I will show you today is my beautiful Phalaenopsis Bellina, which smells so beautiful. She absolutely fills this little corner with her fragrance. This is again one of my oldest orchids. I got it in 2014 maybe? 2015? But quite a couple of years, I think, before I moved here. So maybe 2014. But she's been in my collection for, let's say, about 10 years. Wow, amazing. And she's still with us. I love her a lot. She went through a lot. She caught my first ever spider mite outbreak, and she had, I do believe, the orchid flag virus, but for a while now I do not see any more chlorosis spots on her leaves. The last leaf that has spots is way there. Do you see it has some spots? It's a very old leaf. So for the past 3 years maybe or so, I don't see any more spots on the new leaves, which is absolutely fantastic because I really do adore this particular one, and she's been with me through a lot of things and I care for her, you know? Righty, so I think it's time to end this video because my camera shows me that I've recorded for 27 minutes, and I do believe at the 30-minute mark it will stop. So I'm gonna stop recording now and I'm gonna start it again, make the outro. Alright, and this has been the tour for the month of July. Do you enjoy these tours? Should I keep making them? I feel like some of you will enjoy them, some of you will not. You're just more into the tutorials and things, but I know some of my subscribers really do enjoy these What's in Bloom type of videos. And I've been kind of on and off with them because, you know, it just feels like I'm not delivering what you want. But you know what? Yeah, I enjoy doing them right now like this because the room looks nice finally, and I can show you the blooms nicely in their shelves. They're not crammed somewhere and looking awful and terrible. And maybe doing these videos will keep me on my toes to maintain things arranged and displayed nicely, right? So yeah, I enjoy doing them. I will probably do them every month. Hope you enjoy them too. Let me know in a comment below if you do. And with that said, let me know which orchids you enjoyed or you have already in your collection. What do you think of them? And which ones made it to your wish list. So with that said, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!